Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are doing well. Today is October 6th, and it is Monday. Hopefully, all you guys are having a wonderful week so far. And hopefully, all you guys had a wonderful day, whatever you do throughout the day, whether it be school, whether it be work, whatever it is. Hopefully, all you guys are doing well. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We're on our way to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I think we can do it. So if you're new here, drop a subscribe. It would be really appreciated. If you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing. All funds go to me. That may pay for the things that I need to pay for in college, like food, like clothing, like all that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. Truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. And with that being said, let's get into the news from today. Moving on to the Trump administration segment, as we do here, the first topic we have today is Trump has tried to take credit for knowing Osama bin Laden was going to commit 9/11. Trump spoke in front of the Navy commemorating its 250th birthday on Sunday and essentially tried to take credit for knowing that Osama bin Laden was going to commit the 9/11 attacks. He said, "Please remember, I wrote about Osama bin Laden exactly 1 year ago before he blew up the World Trade Center. You got to watch Osama bin Laden," he said. He went on to die. Um, cite his book. Holy, he went on to cite his book, saying, "Whatever the hell the title is, I cannot tell you." There is a page in there that is devoted to the fact that I saw Osama bin Laden and I didn't like it, and you got to take care of him. They didn't do it. A year later, he blew up the World Trade Center. So we got to take a little credit because nobody else is going to give it to me. You know the odd story. They don't give you credit. Just take it yourself. Now, did Trump claim in his book that, he didn't like Osama bin Laden? Yes, he'd claimed that in The America We Deserve, written in 2001. But he did not claim he was going to commit the 9/11 attacks. He just claimed that he was public enemy number one. Nor did he say that he thought Osama bin Laden should have been killed in the slightest. 9/11 as a whole is an interesting event, and that's as far as I will go into it because of the respect I have for the people who died that day and the people who laid their lives on the line, especially all the firefighters who risked their lives on that day. How it happened and who did it does not matter to me. It happened 6 years before I was born. But what does matter to me is the first responders who are still losing cancer funding and still losing support to get the treatment they need along with so much more for injuries that they have or diseases they got on that day. All of that was cut by the big beautiful bill, and that still has not been changed. So those first responders are still dealing with those issues, except they don't have federal funding to assist them with it, which is a problem. Those people fought in a national tragedy, and they should get all the support that they can because of it. They fought to help people who probably would have died. Out of all the people that they saved, granted, there are a lot of people who died in that event, they saved a lot of people. And those people would have died if it wasn't for those first responders. And that is why those first responders deserve to get all the help, to get all the treatment, to get all the things that they used to get because of the 9/11 attacks. Now that is no longer the case because the Big Beautiful Bill took away that funding, which is one of the many reasons why the Big Beautiful Bill was so horrible. In other news, Trump is looking at pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. Trump said that he would be talking to the DOJ and reviewing the case of Ghislaine Maxwell for a possible pardon. He was asked in the Oval Office if he would consider a pardon, and he declined to rule it out, saying that he would look into the matter. He said, "Well, I'll take a look at it. I'll speak to the DOJ. I wouldn't consider it or not consider it. I don't know anything about it. We will speak to the DOJ." Crazy that Trump says he doesn't know anything about Ghislaine Maxwell and all that. He definitely does. Anyways, if Trump decides to pardon Maxwell, will MAGA finally realize that he is a horrible person and should not be president in any way, shape, or form? Because there is no way in hell that he should be pardoned in any way, shape, or form. This came after the Supreme Court refused to hear her case, and we'll talk about that a little later. But it is absolutely insane that he is even considering pardoning this woman. She should not be pardoned. She should never even leave the jail cell. She should be in there for the rest of her life. 20 years is not enough for that woman. Yet, that's what she got. And it is absolutely insane that he is going into the Oval Office and saying that he is going to consider pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. And I really hope that if he does that, many people in MAGA finally decide to jump ship because I guess all the other reasons aren't enough, but hopefully that one is. Anyways, ICE is increasingly used, or moving on into our ICE segment, ICE is increasingly using military equipment and chemical agents against American citizens in Chicago. ICE is turning Chicago into an active war zone against protesters as agents have become more and more aggressive against them. ICE agents are using Black Hawk helicopters to carry out arrests. They're using chemical agents against protesters and groups to the point where their own agents can't even breathe, and much more with the use of with the heights induced of military equipment throughout the city. Department of Homeland Security officials continue to claim that they are targeting gangs, yet they are ripping people from their homes without warrants, putting them into unmarked helicopters and vans, along with targeting any and all U.S. citizens who try to stop them. ICE needs to be shut down. This is an attack on the entire country of the United States by the current administration and these ICE agents. We've all seen the videos and the attacks against people at this point. Protesters try to do something, or they give a little shove, not a punch, not a push, nothing of that regard. They give a little shove or try to push themselves through, and you know what happens? Sprayed out by chemicals to the point where their own ICE agents can't even breathe. I'm sure we've all seen the video of the person in the frog costume at this point. I mean, they turned Bro around and sprayed chemical agents into the little fan thing that keeps like the blow up costumes up. They sprayed that shit into them. That could have killed that person. Thankfully, it didn't, and that person is still okay. But what they are doing is absolutely disgusting. This is more than just rounding up gang members. It is a full blown attack on the American people and everyone who lives in the United States, which is absolutely inexcusable. In other news, Chicago police have announced that ICE officials are making fake 911 calls to drain their resources. An Illinois police chief has accused ICE of making fake 911 calls to local law enforcement to drain their resources. Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills said that um, told CBS that multiple officers responded to calls about somebody trying to break into an ICE facility, but then when they arrived at the ICE facility, it was just a CBS News cameraman and security guard taking pictures of the facility. Mills said, "It's disturbing. It's ridiculous." Mills announced that they would be reaching out to the county attorney because this is illegal and a violation of the law. This is entirely illegal and puts people who actually need help from 911 services at risk. False 911 calls are a misdemeanor and can result in, at the very least, 6 months in jail time, which makes what ICE is doing illegal and insane. This takes away from people's ability to get actual help or services if they need it. And if it's a tactic that's being used by ICE, it's even more proof that they need to be shut down. What if someone is like having their house burnt down? What if there is an in-home dispute, but ICE is calling up while there's a cameraman outside of their facility saying people are trying to break in here? Like, it is insane that they are using fake 911 calls. Fake 911 calls. That is illegal. You are not allowed to do that. Yet they are. And it is fucked up on another level. Genuinely, it is. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment, the first topic we have is the Supreme Court has denied to review Ghislaine Maxwell's conviction. The Supreme Court has rejected Ghislaine Maxwell's challenge to her conviction for recruiting and grooming teenage girls for Jeffrey Epstein and his accomplices. The decision means Maxwell's 3 counts and her 20-year sentence will remain in place. Maxwell's lawyers argued the deal with Epstein made to protect his associates should apply to her, but that will not be the case. In a statement from her lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, he said, "Well, of course, we're deeply disappointed that the Supreme Court declined to hear Ghislaine Maxwell's case, but the fight isn't over. Serious legal and factual issues still remain, and we will continue to pursue every avenue available to ensure justice is done." Maxwell should have to sit throughout her entire prison sentence. 20 years isn't even enough for that. Like, she has done some god awful things and participated in some god awful things. She should be in prison for the rest of her life. Plain and simple. I've said that on multiple occasions, and I will continue to say that because it's the truth. As should anyone else within the Epstein files. All of them. If you are in the Epstein files, you should be in prison for life. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you've done. If you're in those files, you should be in prison immediately and indefinitely. Nobody should be allowed to touch kids and walk the streets freely. It is absolutely disgusting that so many rich people, so many politicians, so many famous people have actively done that and have actively participated in that. It is disgusting. Genuinely. It is fucking disgusting. And if anyone has participated in that, they should be in prison for the rest of their lives. In other news, an assistant U.S. attorney will not recommend charges against Lita James. I believe that's how you pronounce that. A top prosecutor in Virginia has informed her colleague that she will decline to seek charges against New York Attorney General Letitia James. Elizabeth UC has confided in her co-workers that she sees no probable cause to believe James engaged in a mortgage fraud, and she will present that conclusion to Trump's new interim Attorney General, Lindsey Halligan. Prosecutors are now bracing for Yuzi to be fired because of this, even though many lawyers have already said that this case lacks sufficient evidence for it to hold anything. Trump should not be allowed to just prosecute his political opponents as he pleases. That is fascism 101 right there. And if you disagree, go pick up a history book and find out how all the other fascist countries in history disposed of people who disagreed with their leaders. I know there's going to be comments saying this administration isn't fascist. And to that, I say, you're a dumbass. Say and hate all you want, but to anyone with actual knowledge about history, they will be able to tell you that this is fascism at its finest. Many of the tactics that we have seen by the Trump administration were used by Nazi Germany and so many other fascist countries throughout history who fit the exact definition of it. You guessed it, fascism. Oh, that's what they are. And once again, if you disagree, go pick up a book and put down Fox News. Educate yourself on what fascism actually is and what this administration is actually doing. Let us not forget they're targeting Antifa, which is not a group, which is not an organization. It is an ideology of being against fascism. Why would they target people against fascism? They aren't that themselves. I mean, let's put on our thinking caps with that one, guys. Let's uh let's really think about that one. They have no reason to target people who are against fascism unless they're fascists. Boom. Solved it. Totally. Whatever. Anyways, moving on into our final topic for tonight. A South Carolina judge's home has burnt down. A South Carolina judge's home went up in flames on Sunday, hospitalizing three and destroying her home. A circuit court judge, Diane Goodstein, was walking her dogs when the fire began. Her husband, son, and one more were forced to jump out of the home. These three were rescued by kayak from the home's backyard, and one was airlifted to the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston. The other two were taken to the ground or taken via ground transportation, and their conditions remain unknown. An investigation is currently ongoing, and there's no evidence to what has happened. I wish a full and speedy recovery to all of those hurt in this situation. It is truly unfortunate. Although we're yet to know why this happened, it is extremely unfortunate. Hopefully, it was just some accident like leaving the stove on, but these days you never really know. Good luck to all harmed. I wish you all well. I wish you all, get all the recovery that you need and all of that. But yeah, outside of that, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. It's definitely been a very interesting day in the news world. And once again, we have seen terrible things from the Trump administration. Outside of that, though, hopefully all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully all you guys are doing well. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. We're on our way to 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and I believe we can hit that goal. We're gaining subscribers pretty quick on here. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support would be greatly appreciated. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing as well. All funds go to me. They help me for the things that I need to pay for in college, like my groceries, like clothing, like all of that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. It means the world to me that so many of you continue to watch my episodes day after day. And with that being said, thank you everyone for watching this episode, and I will see you all in the next one.